Now dropping donuts is fun, but if they don't combine, it's just a ball pit. Today, we code the core mechanic, turning two plain donuts into a chocolate glazed donut without breaking the physics engine. Welcome back to Godot Dev Checkpoint. We've got physics, now we need logic. We need to detect collisions and swap objects instantly. Now rigid bodies optimize performance by ignoring collisions by default. We need to wake them up. Then we need to enable contact monitor and set max contacts reported to at least 2 or 3. So back in our game here, in our Donut 1 scene, let's open that up. We need to edit the rigid body itself. So the Donut 1 rigid body is selected. Over here in our inspector, we scroll down to the solver. Open that. We need to take this contact monitor, turn that on. You can see what that does if you hover over it. Now it just emits signals when it collides with another body. We'll be able to use that to be able to merge. But we don't want too many contacts. So the max contacts we're going to report, we're going to set that to 4. Now if you leave it as 0, the body entered signal will never fire. But this way it'll be able to check pretty much all the donuts around it. We now need to give our donuts a level though, or a single donut so far. So our donut 1 selected, we're going to attach a script. And we're not going to put our scenes folder, go to our root, up here, we're going to go to our scripts folder. This one's going to be just called donut. So we are going to use this script for all the donuts we have. Donut, open, create. We'll be able to get rid of all this boilerplate stuff. We don't need that right now. And all we're going to do is we're going to export a level variable. So we can set the levels to these donuts. So it's going to be an int, and it's going to be equal to 1, just to start. Go ahead and save that. Now we're also going to do, with this donut 1, we're going to take the sprite 2D and collision shape 2D, select both those, and we're going to take their transform. We're going to take that scale, since this is our first level donut, we're going to bring it down to size 5. Okay, our 2D scene here, our tab. Take a look at that. We can save it. And now that we have everything we need in our first donut, what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this donut 1 twice. So down our scenes folder in our file system, you right click, duplicate. We're going to name this to donut 2. You're going to duplicate donut 2. Right click, duplicate. This one's going to be donut 3. All right, now we're going to go into donut 2 here. So now I'm in the donut 2 scene. I'm going to rename this to donut 2, just so we know where we're at. I'm going to take this sprite 2D and collision shape 2D, and I'm in the transform. I'm going to change this to 7. Now this one's a little bigger than the first one. I'm also going to change the sprite to my next level donut, which I'm going to use the chocolate glazed. There we go. So when these 1 donuts merge, they're going to become a donut 2. Now, don't forget to take the donut 2 on the rigid body, select the root node. Our level is going to be level 2. And do the same thing with donut 3. Open that scene up. Now I have donut 3. My donut body, rigid body, root node, set that to level 3. We're also going to make this bigger. So sprite 2D and collision shape 2D, you can select both those. Transform, we'll make this one 10. This will be our biggest donut. We also want to change the sprite. With our sprite 2D selected, this will be the sprinkles donut. There we go. And that's our final form donut. Now we shouldn't handle spawning inside the donut itself because it's going to be deleted. We're going to create a signal bus. If you're familiar with the battle system tutorial we did, you've heard all about signal buses. It's kind of like a manager that handles the spawn next level logic that we're going to do. So it's going to be a singleton. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in the file system here in our scripts folder here. We're going to right click, create new script. Now we're going to call this one the Game Manager. And it's in our scripts folder. So create. It doesn't open automatically when you don't have it attached to a node. So you go back into our scripts folder, Game Manager, double click that. Now we don't need this boilerplate code. We can get rid of that. Okay. And then first we need to set this in an autoload, which makes it a singleton. So what we're going to do in our project settings, project settings, in our globals tab here, we're going to set path or press add to create a script for a singleton. So in our folder path here, we're going to our scripts folder, and we're going to go to our Game Manager script and open. And this is going to be called Game Manager, just like this. The syntax is important, capital G, capital M, and we're going to add. Now we have a enabled global variable. This is now our singleton. Now we'll be able to access this through any script. So I'm going to close that. Now next we need, in our Game Manager GDScript, we need to have a array. It's going to hold all of our donut scenes. Now, this just makes it easy to pick donuts and the array index they're at for the next upgrade, or if you want to do random selections, which we'll see later. Now, you do a thing called preloading scenes, and we can do that with an array of packed scenes. So what we're going to do is preload our donut scenes. And we just need to put the array in a variable. So we're called variable donuts. This can be an array. Array is just a box where you put things in, whatever you really want to put in them. For the most part, you can put anything in an array. There are limitations. And if you want to see what an array is, you can control click. And you can read all about it in the documentation here inside the GD editor. And we'll go back to the Game Manager script. And in our array, we're going to hold a box of packed scenes, which is going to be all of our donuts. So packed scene in our array. And then we can populate this array because we know exactly what we want in it. So equals brackets. We're going to enter down. Now we're going to do a thing called preload, which basically means we're going to preload the scenes we want to use. So preload, and then we need to put a scene as a string inside of this. See, if you have this all pops up automatically. So we need donut 1, 2, and 3. It's going to go all into our donuts. So with preload written out, you can actually populate by double clicking right there. Now we have our first one. And then we need to comma separate all of them. So comma at the end. We're going to do another preload for all the other ones, for the other 2 we have so far. So donut 2, comma separate, preload, and then we're going to do donut 3. Now we have an array with all our donuts in it. You can add as many as you want to this with how many fruits or donuts you want to use. So we're going to save that. Now we have our donuts, but now we need a way to spawn them. So we're going to create a function in the Game Manager script. Here, function, we're going to call it spawn donut. And then what we need for to spawn, we need a place to spawn it. So we need the position, the vector 2 of where it needs to be, and then we need the current level of said donut, so we know which donut to spawn. Let's bring this in so I can see better. There we go. Get rid of parenthesis there. And we need to check if there is a next level. Are we at the highest level, or is there another level above the donut we're trying to merge? So check if it exists first. You just do that with an if statement, easy enough. Current level, is less than the donut's size of the array. So our size is an order of level. So 0, 1, 2, our 2 is the highest level. So if the current level is higher than that, or if the current level is less than that, then we can still spawn. So we can go into this if statement. So we're going to create a new donut. So we're going to store that donut in a new donut variable, just like that. We're going to take the donut's current level that we got here. We passed in, if I spelt it right, I did not. There we go. Current level there. And then we need to instantiate that. So we're just going to instantiate into the new donut variable that we just created. Right? And since we did levels 1, 2, and 3, 0, 1, 2 makes it so we'll make a note of that. The next donut is at index, which equals the current level. Because these donut 1 here, we'll go there. Donut 1 is level 1. So this is going to take that donut current level and use that for the next donut. So 1 will actually be donut 2, and donut 2, well, that's going to spawn donut 3, because that's the one it is. But donut 3, level 3, well, that's currently not less than donut.size. This is out of range, so it's not going to spawn a new donut. So we can finish that current. What's that mean? That current, how can we say that? So our current index, current level, sense array is 0 based. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, well, now we have our new donut. And we need to put it somewhere. So our new donut dot position is going to go in the position that is sent into the spawn donut here. Perfect. Now, once again, we're back into the calling deferred. Now we're going to do call deferred here. It avoids physics locks, basically. So we don't want to have it all instantly happen at once. We want for it to wait until certain things are done, so it doesn't all happen on top of each other. So call deferred. And we're going to do the same thing here with the string. We call the method with the string. We want to add the child to the game. And that's the method we want to use. Just like add child for the last one is going to be add child to game with what? Well, it's going to be with the new donut. And let's make a note of that. If we're calling deferred while we're doing that, defer adding the child to avoid physics locks. It'll make things behave a lot better. Call deferred is very powerful. You can read a lot about it. I can link it in the documentation below too in the description. You can read what it does and why it's so important. But basically, it just means it won't do the thing until the end of other physics frames. So you're not bumping heads against each other, trying to do too many physics at once. Now back in our GameManager script, what we're going to do, after this call deferred is able to call, the physics are letting it, we're going to add child to game. And we're going to write that right below. Function add child to game. Now we need the donut node, which is going to be the new donut right here. So we take our donut node. What we're going to do with that, well, we're going to assume the game is the current scene, or finding the container is the game scene itself. And we do that by, well, we need to get the tree of the game, which is the current scene, which is our game scene. They're going to add that child, which is our donut node, as we called it. Now this donut node will be added to the current scene, which will be the tree root node of that current scene, which will be the game scene. So in here. So just like we did in the spawner, we call deferred add child to the parent game. This GameManager will do the exact same thing. It'll add a child to this game node here, just like it does with the spawner. That way you're not inheriting different positions and those kind of things. They are their own. Now go and save that script. We need to go back to our donut GD, finish up the merge function. So down here, enter down there, we're going to make a function called merge donut. And we're going to take that other donut, and then we're going to see if we can merge with it. So when we can merge, first thing we're going to do is we're going to calculate the midpoint between the two donuts for the new spawn. Give it a nice place to spawn that doesn't look jittery or broken. Okay. How we do that is, well, we need to get the spawn position. Call that spawn position. We need to have that be the global position plus the other donut global position. We're going to divide that. So those two, we're going to add them together, then we're going to divide them by 2. So get the halfway point, which is the midpoint. The second thing we want to do is, well, we want to tell the manager to spawn the next level donut, just like we were doing with all the arrays. So it's going to check whichever one, if there is another one, that can spawn. So tell the manager to spawn the next level up. Well, we can use, since it's a singleton, we can use our GameManager, spawn debut donut. That's what I meant. And we're going to take that spawn position we just got, and then we need the level of the donut, which we have in the script here at 1. But if we changed it, as we did on these ones, donut 2, it'll take the one from the inspector. So this donut 2 will pass in 2. Donut 3 will 3, and 1, donut 1 will be 1. So the one in the inspector takes precedence over the one in the script, if it's an export variable. And the third, final thing we gotta do for now is delete the other donut and this donut. So we're gonna get rid of all this because we're spawning a whole new one. So the other donut, well, we do a thing called queue free, and that's going to delete this instance of that one. We also need to delete, well, ourselves. So queue free. We don't want to delete yourself before you delete the other one. All right, now we need to connect the signals. So in our donut 1, we start there. In our node tab in the inspector, right next to the inspector, we're going to go into the node, and we want to look for body entered. We're going to double click that. We want to add that to the donut root node script. OnBodied entered, connect. Now in the onBodied entered, what we need to write is to check if we have hit a donut and not a wall or anything like that. We want to see what we've hit. And we're going to use that with groups. So how do we set groups? Well, in the same place we are right now, signals, there's also groups. So with your donut 1 root selected, groups, we're going to click on there. And then we're going to add here a button. You want to add donut. Now we're going to add this as a global. So anywhere in the entire project, you'll be able to tell if this group and this item is in this group. By checkboxing, well, after you click OK, you'll see this checkbox. Now if you uncheck it, it's not in the group. If you check it, it is in the group. You should tell by this little square box right there. It's a square box and a signal, so that's a double. Great, now how do we tell if something's in the group? Well, this script is attached to the donut 1, so we're going to check if the body that was entered is in the group donut. Just like that. Well, so that's the first thing we're going to do. So we'll do that first. Check if the thing we hit is also a donut. All right, and the second thing we want to do is we want to check if it is the same level. Same level. Like 01 hits 01 kind of thing. So how we do that? We'll check the level. So we have the body here, the body node. It's going to be body, if body level. So we know we have a level equals the same level as whoever got hit. So whatever script this is attached to, whatever it hit, see if it's the same level. Well, if it is the same level, we want to, third thing we want to do is only the donut with the higher ID. Now you've reached a checkpoint here. Why? Well, we don't want them both to do it at the same time, because then we'll spawn the same donut twice. We only want one to choose which one to merge and which one to spawn. So the one with the higher ID is the higher ID to the instance IDs or the names. So we can get the thing called the instance ID. So if one has a higher one and it's the same level donut, the higher instance ID will be able to handle the merging. That way we don't get two merges of the same donut. Say two level ones hit each other. We don't want two level one or level two spawning. We want one level two spawning. So this is giving the power to one donut and not both of them is how we're going to do that. So basically this is a conflict resolution. If I could spell that. There we go. And we're going to do that by going like so. We're going to go if the body that was collided with, we're going to get the instance ID. And that instance ID, we're also going to compare it to our instance ID. Like that. And if it's the body has an instance ID that's greater, well, we're going to return. So we want to stop. Let the other donut handle this. So we're going to stop. But say we have a higher instance ID. Well, what we're going to do after that, so we're going to go past this if statement, and we are going to call deferred. Not thread group, call deferred. And we're going to call a method that we're going to call merge donut. And then we're going to do it on the body that was thrown, or the body that was hit us. So we're going to be able to delete the body, which is the other body, and then merge it with our body. So if we do get to call merge donut, we'll just go back up here, and this is going to be called from here. And we're going to take this body, and it's going to be the other donut. And then we're all going to do all these steps here. Now, if we have a lower instance ID, well, the other donut's going to do their own merge donut. Now this ensures that the merge code only runs once per collision. Now we're going to need to do the same for donut 2. We need to put it in the donut group, save. We also need to go to the signals with the root node selected, body entered, double click, and we're going to connect. Now this will connect to the same function we just wrote. So we do that with the same with 3. So donut 3, we never changed that name. Change that to 3. Now donut 3 and donut 2 explicit. Now same thing with donut 3. We need to go into the node, body entered, double click, connect. Now we'll also connect to the same function. Make sure this is in groups, donut. If it's not in the group donut, this will not work because it won't even make it past this part of the if statement. I'm going to go and save our scenes. Save. Back in our game, let's go and give that a test. Run current scene. Let's drop a few donuts here. Drop one on top of the other. Whoop, and now we got a chocolate glaze. These ones bounce off of each other. Yep, now we got 2 chocolate glazed. And we get 3. So we bump this into that one. There we go. Now we got a sprinkled. Perfect. Now we got another sprinkled. Chocolate. And you see how fast that was? We're going to change that to give it some oomph. Perfect. Well, we got 3 different donuts, all spawning new, bigger, and new, bigger donuts. So level 1 donuts merge into a level 2, 2 into a level 3. Now, the loop is complete. Drop, collide, merge. We are successfully handling physics collisions without crashing the engine and using a Singleton to manage our game state. But it feels pretty flat still. The donuts just blink into existence or blink out of existence. The next video we're going to add some juice. Particles, squishy tween animations, and satisfying pops to make the game feel, well, more professional. If you found this helpful at all, or fun, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It really helps out the channel. And thank you to all our current and past Patreon and Coffee members. Your generous support keeps the channel moving. If you want early access to tutorials, source code, or suggesting future tutorials, please consider becoming a member yourself. The links are in the description. I'm Spaghetti Syntax, and remember, finished, not perfect, fail fast, fail often, always stay curious, and I'll see you at the next checkpoint.